hell are you?
Jennifer Walters, attorney at law.
Jen, this is your life now. Whether you like it or not, trouble's gonna find you.
Let's do this.
You could be an Avenger.
I'm not a superhero. That is for billionaires and narcissists. And adult orphans, for some reason.
Whether you like it or not, you're now a superhero.
Very good.
Just trying to show you.
No,
It's done.
I'm shown. I did not go to law school to become a vigilante.
Our universe is on the edge of a precipice.
All right, let's do this. That name better not stick.
Bruce, I'm not gonna be a superhero.
What else you gonna do as a Hulk?
Lawyer show.
We just started a superhuman law division, and I want the She Hulk to be the face of it.
We do things by the book.
The Book of Ashanti.
The Book of American Laws.
Welcome back, everyone. Marvel just released a new She Hulk trailer. We'll break it down. There's a whole bunch of new Daredevil, and we got new details on what's going on with the new Hulk movie that we just found out about thanks to some very sharp-eyed fans poring over a bunch of legal documents between Disney and all the Hulk solo movies. So I'll explain what's going on because it ties what's happening in later Marvel Phase 5 with Captain America 4, New World Order, and the Thunderbolts movie. If you're brand new to the channel, I will be doing videos for all the She Hulk episodes. They start next week. Be sure to subscribe to get all those. We're doing a giveaway for Disney Plus memberships. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do for the plot of the next Hulk solo movie in the MCU. Yes, there's a ton of new Daredevil and all these She-Hulk trailers. I'll talk about that in a second after I talk about the Hulk movie. I feel like everyone's really just wondering what the deal is with Marvel making the next Hulk solo movie. And to make another Daredevil and She-Hulk joke, thanks to some very good lawyers, fans have found some interesting information in all the legal documents at Marvel. So the big green elephant in the room right now is Marvel's been sitting on a new Hulk solo movie. Why haven't they released any since the Incredible Hulk film? Originally, The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton was planned as a trilogy of Hulk movies. You probably heard about this before. The sequel would have come out a couple years later, kind of the same timing of Iron Man and Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, the same thing with the Thor movies, same thing with the Captain America movies, like a couple years between them. Tim Blake Nelson revealed that his leader character would have been one of the main villains of the Incredible Hulk sequel movie, and the third movie probably would have gotten into some Red Hulk Thunderbolt Raw stuff. The main reason Marvel hasn't released a Hulk solo movie since The Incredible Hulk is because Universal has held the distribution rights to all the Marvel movies where Hulk was the main character, or they used Hulk in the title of the movie. The same is true for characters like Namor. Like, they held a couple of characters' rights like that. Like, that's why you haven't seen a Namor solo movie. Marvel's workaround to that was to have Hulk be a backup character in all the Avengers movies, like they gave him an arc kind of spread across all the Avengers films. And now Namor, for instance, is in Black Panther Wakanda Forever as one of the villains, but technically he's not a villain, he's kind of like an anti-hero. They're big characters, metaphorically and literally, like Namor is one of the biggest characters in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but they're not in the titles of the movies. Universal's rights to those characters made it so that if Marvel wanted to release a Hulk solo movie, for instance, they'd be forced to let Universal distribute the movie, earning a ton of the box office earnings, and Disney and Marvel didn't want that. Like, they wanted all the money for themselves, obviously. But Universal's contract with them gave them the rights to release all Hulk movies until, and here's where we get the really good lawyers in the MCU for the win, until the year 2023. They had a contract that expired after about 15 years from the release of the most recent Hulk movie, which was The Incredible Hulk, releasing in June 2008. So technically, Marvel can now release the next Hulk solo movie in July 2023. Now, if you look at the Marvel Phase 5 schedule, the Marvel Phase 6 schedule we got at Comic-Con, July 2023 is literally next year. It's not that far away. And of course, their schedule for Marvel Phase 5 is already booked solid between movies and TV series. They're releasing Loki Season 2 and the Marvels movie around that time. The only open dates they have right now on the schedule are later in Marvel Phase 6 after the Thunderbolts movie and the Fantastic Four movie. So that's like the earliest that the new Hulk solo movie could come out. But you see why Marvel's doubling down now on introducing so many new Hulk characters like She Hulk. It's also pretty likely they'll eventually do a She Hulk Season 2 because there's so many opportunities for bringing new characters in through that. Mark Ruffalo also said on the side a couple years ago that he'd been pitching new Hulk movies and stories to Kevin Feige, and they were trying to get something going in the background. It was just a matter of when the timing would be right. Like, when would we actually be able to release a new Hulk solo movie? And it sounds like in 2023, they could actually start making plans for a later release date, like Marvel Phase 6, Marvel Phase 7. It's basically the same situation that happened with Daredevil himself coming back into the MCU along with the other Marvel Netflix characters. Marvel had to wait a couple years for the rights to expire after Netflix canceled all those Marvel Netflix shows. Marvel couldn't just turn right around immediately the minute after they got canceled and bring them all back in movies and TV shows. Like, it took a couple years for that to expire. As for the actual plot of this new Hulk movie, that's the reason you keep hearing all those World War Hulk rumors. Like, a lot of people have heard that the plot would be a slightly different version of a World War Hulk film, with Hulk versus pretty much everybody in the MCU, like Hulk versus both the Avengers and the Thunderbolts, like all the heroes and all the villains. And if we're talking about a couple years out now, like 2025, 2026, 2027 at this point, by that point, they'll also have the new versions of the X-Men and mutants in the MCU. Like, we've just started to see them tease that, like in the Ms. Marvel series. A lot of people saw recent contracts and some more legal documents saying that there were some rights issues with doing new X-Men mutant characters inside the MCU until the year 2025, and that's one of the reasons why they waited so long to do new X-Men solo film. So in the wild, that they just have to wait a couple years for the contract to expire on doing new Hulk solo movies is kind of a similar situation with doing new versions of the X-Men characters. But all those weird legal rights issues will be cleared up by the time that they actually have open release dates for movies, so it's not that big of a deal. And I talked about all the Planet Hulk Easter eggs, World War Hulk Easter eggs in the last She Hulk trailer with the Skaar ship. They actually started setting up Weapon X way back in the Incredible Hulk film. Really good example is Thunderbolt Ross kept talking about the Weapons Plus program with Abomination. Like, he basically took the Super Soldier Serum program, evolved it into Weapons Plus, pulled it out of mothballs, as he says. Weapons Plus in the comics is the program that births Weapon X eventually. Like Deadpool, for example, is one of the Weapons Plus. People think of Weapon X when they think of Wolverine, but Weapon X is actually Weapon 10, like he's the 10th iteration of the Weapons Plus program. A lot of you comic book fans will remember that Wolverine debuted in the Incredible Hulk comics. So by the time they're ready to do like a new version of an MCU Wolverine, they could actually do a legit Wolverine versus Hulk story inside a Hulk solo movie. But let me know in the comments, if they can release a new Hulk movie in a couple more years, what do you want them to actually do for the plot of that movie? Talking about all the new She Hulk and the Daredevil footage, we see way more Matt Murdock and him in the yellow Daredevil suit from the comics. A lot of people asking, why is it yellow? Well, yellow was the original costume when he initially debuted in the comics. But in the MCU, I'm sure they'll have a funny way of explaining, like, why would a blind person want to wear a very bright colored yellow and red costume like that? Like, the colors kind of clash a little bit. The way the She-Hulk writers talked about it, they said that they had a lot of witty banter between Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters just because of the way the Matt Murdock character is. He has this really quick wit, he tells a lot of jokes, but he has a very particular style of dialogue. It sounds like they have a lot of daytime scenes with them as Matt Murdock lawyer and Jennifer Walters lawyer going at each other in court. Like, that's the whole reason why you would have Daredevil in a She-Hulk series, because she's trying to become a superhero and still be a lawyer, and that's basically who Daredevil is. Like, he's Matt Murdock, lawyer by day, and Daredevil by night. So they keep teasing that she's part of this new superhero law division at her law firm. She probably has to defend someone who's on the opposite side of a case that Matt Murdock is also representing. So it's like them going at each other in court by day, and then they meet each other at night as vigilantes. Really good example of this is when Daredevil is telling all kinds of jokes the first time he meets Karen Page with Foggy Nelson here.
How long have you been practicing law?
What time is it?
It's 12:22 a.m.
About 7 hours.
Well, if you go from when we passed the
I
bar.
was going from we got our own desks.
Oh, then yeah. 7 hours.
You have to picture Daredevil being a little bit like this, telling jokes and going back and forth with Jennifer Walters, like kind of playful, but also very sharp. But big reminder, She Hulk Episode 1 is going to release next week. They're on Thursdays now. My videos will post on Thursdays. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss those videos. And if you have any special requests for Hulk bonus videos or for my She Hulk episode videos, just write them in the comments below. There were a couple of the really big announcements about upcoming Marvel projects and new trailers, so I'll try to post those as quickly as possible. We also found out about a whole bunch of Spider-Man characters that they're doing in the next big Spider-Man Madam Web movie. Everyone click here for that new She Hulk World War Hulk trailer video and Easter eggs, and click here for my new Flash movie trailer and learn what's going on with the future of the DC movies. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.